This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on
14th September 2025. Welcome back to You've Already Been Hacked. This week, we have a story that ends up being almost inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But before we get to that, Cyber Cowboy, how you doing, buddy? How was this past week for you?
This past week was fantastic. I was at the Value of Space Summit, where I got to rub shoulders with government, industry, and academia coming together. Colorado Springs took place combination of at the ISAC, the Information Sharing and Analysis Center for Space itself, and a public day open hosted by the University of Colorado Springs, one of their satellite campuses. So a lot of good conversation around securing space, a lot of talk around the cyber aspect. Obviously, there's some electronic warfare goodness mixed in there, but I got to be on a panel to talk about the space and cyber workforce development that we're all trying to do. How do we get more people, especially younger folks, left to the hiring bang, left to even colleges and universities, but high school and even middle school kids, how to get them excited, involved early, and create a educational and hiring path for them, because Lord knows we do not have enough people interested in STEM. We do not have enough people coming into our workforce in these particular cyber and space career fields.
That's incredible. What would be some of the key takeaways or a good foot stomp out of the conference for everybody?
I think that the key takeaway for our audience would be we're trying to do our best to secure space capability across all levels. And as space becomes more and more critical to literally our everyday stuff, it only echoes the need to keep it secure. So everybody on all aspects are working together to get better.
Nice.
And
was it just a U.S. focused conference?
Oh, it wasn't. Thank you. Actually, it was great to see 4 other countries represented. So we had Germany, Japan, the UK, and Australia all in the house to come together and discuss how to continue sharing information and work together and keep our space safe from bad actors.
That's incredible. That's great. Would you recommend this as something for people to make space and time for next year?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a company or interests that relies on space, you should be attending this conference.
Nice.
Arguably, that could be almost everybody, right? But the people who are rightfully involved, they know, right? So they should be coming out to this.
And last question, where do you think the conference is still going to be in Colorado Springs next year, or is it going to be in Huntsville?
Great question. I think it's gonna stay in Colorado Springs just because that's where the ISAC is, and the Space ISAC is the ones who put it on and host it. So I think it'll continue to be around their spaces and their sharing facilities.
Awesome. And if you haven't been paying attention to the space sector, folks, the reason I asked if it was going to move to Huntsville, Alabama, is because just recently it was announced by U.S. administration that Space Command would be moving to Huntsville, Alabama. Now, I don't think they announced exactly a time frame for that move, but that's at least what the current intent and goal is. So it'll be moving out of Colorado Springs and to Huntsville, Alabama. And with that, let's get to this week's news. Okay, our top story, BulletProof host Stark Industries evades EU sanctions. The European Union slapped sanctions on Stark Industries Solutions Ltd. So, MCU adjacent, it could be multiversal at this point, for all we know. In May 2025, for fueling Kremlin-linked DDoS malware and disinformation campaigns, new research shows Stark swiftly rebranded to The Hosting and moved assets to a Dutch shell company called WorkTitans BV, and shifted IP space to a new Moldovan entity, PQ Hosting Plus SRL. The core infrastructure, IP ranges, servers, and notorious MRI hosting partner remained operational, allowing Russian-backed attacks to continue almost unchanged. Why does this matter for all of us? Well, this is a textbook example of how bulletproof hosting providers dodge regulations by shifting names and ownership while keeping the same malicious traffic lanes open. It shows that sanctions alone are insufficient. Attackers simply reorganize, and keep the same services running, continuing to supply state-level cyber warfare. And what can you or should you be doing about this, or because of this? Well, monitor the domain and IP space associated with Stark and its partners. Use threat intel feeds such as Recorded Future or others. Detect changes in ownership or DNS records. Block traffic originating from the IPs of interest at your perimeter firewalls, especially if you run web services or cloud platforms. And keep an eye on EU sanction lists and immediately flag any new entities that appear in your infrastructure logs. Cowboy, thoughts?
Yeah, so Work Titans BV actually operates close to just shy of 29,000 IP addresses. So I think you hit the key point of your cyber threat intel program should be feeding this information to your defensive cyber folks, right? Like, hey, somebody we were keeping an eye on has moved, right? Maybe there's some new country IPs involved, and they should be being proactive in updating your defensive measures. For sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on this. Sorry, folks, my microphone was double muted. I think that this is just another example, though, of how like a quote unquote bulletproof host like this really can show that this is a huge problem. Not only this, but this is just one of many that are out there, and this is a general problem that we're going to have so long as the internet is not. And I'm not advocating for centrally being regulated or handled or whatever you want to call it, simply because anyone can set up to be a hosting provider of any sort of service in any part of the world. And so long as that fracturing exists, this is just kind of part of the deal. Cowboy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, you can't. There's a fine line between the regulation and freedom of access, right? So the ability to bring up these shell companies and move IPs and move to host different hosted countries, it's really just, as we've said, it's kind of the price of doing business in a free and open society and world society that is the internet. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing and keep getting after it, and hopefully one day get to the point where it becomes maybe too difficult, or the price is too high for these bad actors to keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, well, again, one could be hopeful.
Yes.
All right. 18 popular code packages have been hacked and rigged to steal crypto. An NPM maintainer was phished, allowing attackers to inject malicious code into 18 widely used JavaScript libraries. This injected payload silently intercepted cryptocurrency transactions, redirecting funds to the attacker's wallets while leaving normal-looking code on the surface. This matters because it shows and demonstrates a reusable, low-cost supply chain attack that can compromise any project pulling from NPM, potentially draining wallets of thousands of users without obvious signs. What is it that we all should be doing because of this? Well, scan every NPM dependency for recent commits or unexpected changes. Require two-factor authentication with hardware keys when accessing publish rights on NPM, and audit your build pipelines for malicious code injection points, and use automated malware scanners, Aikido or custom scripts, for example, and notify users if any of the affected libraries appear in your production bundles. This is horrific. NPM is so widely used in so much stuff. Just as a simple, very simple, straightforward fire and forget type of installer for all sorts of things, right? Part of how some of what you've already been hacked is built on N8N, which uses NPM on its back end to install community nodes that need to be used for certain automation workflows. So this is now yet another thing that I have to maintain and check, just simply because somebody found yet another hole in something else that is a legitimate use system.
Yeah, 2.6 billion downloads a week just on these 18 packages. 2.6 billion with a B, folks. Billion. It was a targeted phishing campaign against a known maintainer called Quix. They actually impersonated NPM support. So nothing fancy here, right? It is I don't know when it happened, but 2 a.m. I'm the CEO. Unlock my password now, right? To the poor 18-year-old sitting on the desk. They claimed that the maintainer needed to update his or her two-factor authentication credentials, and by doing that, thus provided the attacker access to their account. So the good news, if you will, is the affected packages are listed and available. So get in there, see what's been affected, and make sure you're not using it. Or if you have, better start a incident response.
Wow. Yeah, just yet again, and this attack here falls very much in line with what we talked about earlier this year with GitHub projects being injected. Like these legitimate platforms that are used in software development are becoming more and more rich targets to go after. And I don't think there is the expertise in the population at large, right? Not that there isn't the expertise, but at large, that uses these projects to be able to detect or scan or find these vulnerabilities when they're happening. And that's why these are becoming really rich areas to have attackers go after.
Yeah, we talk about it every week. So, I mean, for the love of everything holy, if you're not getting after your supply chain, please do what you can to get after it.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. The ongoing fallout from a breach at the AI chatbot maker Salesloft. So for those that remember, a mass theft of authentication tokens from Salesloft, which is an AI-driven chatbot for Salesforce leads, allowed attackers to siphon data from hundreds of corporate accounts, including Slack, Google Workspace, and AWS. The breach also exposed valid access tokens for third-party services. This matters again because it shows the single compromise integration can cause wide range of downstream services, turning an access token into potential sensitive a sensitive portal for corporate data and vaults. Again, supply chain 101, right? That's where we're at right now. What should you be doing about this? Well, immediately revoke all Salesloft linked tokens and force reauthentication for all connected services. Audit API usage logs from anonymous activity and apply least privilege access controls on all connected accounts. Implement multi-factor authentication for any integration that stores long-lived tokens and rotate secrets on a regular schedule. Notify any customers who use Salesloft that their data may have been exposed and advise them to check for suspicious activity. Again, I don't think people realize that while all of the integrations that you can give AI are fantastic, and it really does help with your automation pipelines, those nexus points are heavy targets. And this is just an example of a major one that has compromised who knows how many accounts, or potentially compromised who knows how many accounts. I can tell you, I have locked down the N8N instance that we use to the point where it is multi-factor authentication. It is behind our infrastructure, and the only parts of it that go out publicly are very specifically annotated for those one-off pieces of it to go out publicly. Otherwise, it cannot touch the internet because it has too many tokens assigned to it already. And God forbid something was to happen there. Cowboy, thoughts?
Yeah, so they're still calling this UNC 6040, which is uncategorized threat group. However, came out and said that they keep consistently claim to be the threat group Shiny Hunters that we've talked about before. But I'll tell you, I am disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. This is a big company, and it should have had the money and manpower behind somebody sitting down and saying, mapping this out, the threat. Hey, if we hook this AI chatbot into all these things, what could happen if the chatbot is compromised? And we hit on this before, but you got to do that work before you implement these things so that you don't only understand what's going to happen, but you can put your defenses in place to stop those cascading effects.
Yeah.
Disappointed, Salesforce, disappointed.
Well, I mean, isn't Salesforce the company that got rid of 70% of their developers or something because the AI could do it for them?
Half, 4,000.
Half, 4,000,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Well,
so that's what you get for not doing your due diligence. Sorry.
I would say so, right? And I don't think Salesforce is the company that lost out here. I think it was Salesloft, who is a provider of AI that uses Salesforce, but still, that's still a third party vector at this point, which is terrible. Let's see, what else do we have here?
Yes.
Well, I haven't seen one this big in some time, but let's talk about Microsoft Patch Tuesday that happened this past September. Microsoft released patches for 80 plus vulnerabilities, including several critical ones that could be exploited over the network. One of them being NTLM privilege escalation, which was CVE 2025-54-918. The other one, for an example here, is SMB client flaw, CVE 2025-55-234. The update also fixed remote code execution bugs in NTFS and addressed multiple high-severity issues across Windows. This matters because many of the fixed flaws are remote executable with no user interaction, meaning attackers could compromise systems securely by sending crafted packets, especially the type of attacks used in the examples we talked about with Stark and Salesloft. What can or should you be doing right now about this? Well, apply the critical patches immediately. That's why Patch Tuesday exists. It gives you a period of time to plan your patch schedule around. And that's why Microsoft moved to such a schedule, because at one point they were issuing patches so fast no one could keep up and no one was patching. But the fact that it's on schedule, you really have no excuse, especially if you're an IT administrator that's working on an SMB of some sort, or even a large business. Verify that your network perimeter blocks inbound traffic on ports targeted by these vulnerabilities, specifically SMB and RDP. Run vulnerability scanners against your endpoints to confirm patches are in place, and educate users about the importance of keeping systems up to date, as many of these 0 days surface through unpatched machines. Cowboy?
So going back to your opening statement, that's what she said. Cyber cowboys are known for their hard work, not their maturity. So it was hard to hold that one back for a while, but
God.
if you toss it up, I'm going to spike it down. So yeah, the SMB client that got patched was an 8.8. So that's up there, right? That's bad. So like you said, it's scheduled, it's regular. You know it's coming. People should know it's coming, be planning for it, and this is an easy win to work into your patch management schedule.
Yeah, and 80 plus vulnerabilities. I haven't seen Microsoft do that many vulnerabilities in a Patch Tuesday, I think, in quite a long time. So that's I don't know if that's concerning or good. I think I feel very mixed on it. You know what I mean? Like, yay, we patched 80 things, but really, there were 80 things that needed to be patched. Like, guys, come on.
Yeah, I'm Windows has tens of millions of lines of code, so that's even for a conglomerate like Microsoft, it's just hard to get after, right? I mean, that's why they have the bug bounty program. Like, help us find these things. There's not even enough people in Microsoft to get after it. So yeah, it's weird, right? It's a yay, but like, oh God, at the same time.
Well, maybe before we get to Windows 12, they could do a little MV, minimum viable secure product, MVSP, instead of MVPing Windows 12 out the door. Maybe we could try that for once. Maybe.
We could.
Maybe they could hire a red team that's sole purpose is to attack Windows constantly and find all the holes before they become public. Maybe.
Weird.
All right. And in our last story, affiliates flock to the quote-unquote soulless scam gambling machine. A Russian affiliate program called Gambler Panel has spread thousands of fake gambling sites to lure users with free credits, only to force them into verification deposits and then wipe out their accounts. Affiliates earn up to 70% of the profits, with the program providing step-by-step instructions and scam mechanics.
Oh,
So why this matters?
Ransomware is a service, right? Jeez.
Ransomware is a service. I don't even think this counts as ransomware at this point, really. It highlights how organizational fraud networks monetize abuse. This is abuse as a service is what this is, by creating large-scale automated scam sites exposing users and their financial data to sophisticated phishing and money laundering workflows. What can or should you be doing about this? Well, first of all, let's not just go to the random gambling website that's offering you free credits. Let's start there. And then monitor web traffic for attempts to access known gambling panel domains or suspicious gaming URLs. Block or flag any traffic that matches patterns of fake gambling sites, examples including instant credit offers or verification deposit prompts. Educate employees and customers and yourselves about spotting phishing or scam sites that mimic legitimate gambling platforms, and keep threat intel on evolving affiliate programs in your feed to stay ahead of similar scams. All right, Cowboy, go for it.
Oh, so much to say. God, this just kind of highlights how dumb people can be. I'm not a big gambler, so even the big ones that I know are legitimate still give me the heebie-jeebies, and I can't quite bring myself to get after that kind of stuff yet. But we've said, like, in today's day and age, trust but verify. Like, trust nothing, trust but verify. Look at where these links are taking you before you click on them. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. That is sound advice that has been around forever in the cyber community. Sure, even legit people are giving free credits and free whatevers and stuff, but $2,500, I mean, that seems pretty high. So don't, if it's too easy, it probably is for a reason. So just do your due diligence.
I totally agree. Like, if you're going to be involved in that type of activity, and there's no judgment on that. So gambling is a hobby and sometimes a form of employment for some folks. So if that's what your thing is, and that's your niche, and that's what you want to spend your time doing, cool, that's great. But yeah, be smart and safe about it, and don't just fall for the potential pitfalls and traps, because you could end up losing a lot more than whatever you were willing to wager in the first place. Cowboy, what else you got for us this week?
All right. Click to spin, lose your pin. Fake gambling sites don't take your money, they take everything. I am Cyber Cowboy. Stay frosty, my friends.
And I'm the professor of CyberRisk. That's all the news for this week. And next week, we have something special in store, so tune in then. Thanks, everybody.
Can't wait.
If you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues and friends. Your support is how we are able to continue to make this content. Thank you.